Hey guys, welcome back to our 6th episode of the podcast. I am your host, Tristan, with my co-host,
Stephanie.
And this week we are continuing episode 2 of our series of our EUROTRIP that we took back in 2017, the fall of 2017, late summer, early fall. But first off, we're going to start off with some good news.
Yes.
So tell them.
I have amazing news, you guys. I am no longer unemployed.
Yeah. So what are you going to be doing?
Well, start date isn't until May 26th, but I am the title is called production assistant, and is basically with a mortgage company. So being the kind of the document in between person.
Like a liaison?
Yeah.
Between who and who?
Between loan officer and like escrow and title and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. And when do you start again?
May 26th.
So you got a couple more weeks of freedom.
Yes.
Yes. So
I can't wait to start that.
You were filling out like a bunch of documents today.
Oh, yes, I was. And so they wanted to do a background check and all that kind of stuff, make sure I'm a good person. I didn't do anything bad.
You're an okay person.
Thanks. And one of the things they asked me for was all of my addresses were for the last 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
Wow.
And I kid you not, I had 10 addresses I had to put in.
You found all 10 of them?
I found all 10 except for those Spain ones. So I moved twice in Spain.
Uh-huh.
And so I kind of put in a rough estimate of what my street was. And then I submitted everything, and they did come back saying we do need extra documentation. So I was like looking for my old passport, looking for my old like student ID, and all that kind of stuff. But it all happened to be Granada stuff, which is I think what we're about to talk about, right?
That's the city we're talking about today.
Perfect.
This is our third city that we visited, and I'll go ahead and put this on record. It was my favorite city out of the entire trip.
Yes, I was hoping you
definitely
would feel
was.
That way.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was mine. I mean, I spent 10 months there, so
yeah. Well, you were
studying abroad.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah. But first, I know that we arrived late at night on the bus. Do you remember arriving?
So we arrived and the sun was already down, so it was already dark. And we boarded a bus, and I feel like we were on that bus to the actual city for a long time. Honestly, I don't even know where the airport was.
I think it was about a 40-minute bus ride.
Yeah.
But it was a long bus ride to me. It was a very, very
long bus ride, especially like after being on a plane for so long, after walking around Barcelona for so long. So, yeah.
I remember we landed, the plane landed, and you were getting footage of me, like getting excited to get
that's
into.
right.
Remember when we were like outside? I remember it was kind of like dusk, so the sun was just starting to set when.
Yeah, and you teared up a little bit.
I did. I mean, it's emotional. I hadn't been back since 2013, and when did we go? What year?
2017.
So 5 years. 6 years. Wait.
I think your math is way off. 2012.
4 years. So yeah. Sorry. 2011 to 2012.
I was like, what kind of math are you doing?
I graduated in 2013.
Yeah. So before we go any further, I have a question. So when you studied abroad there, did you know Spanish at all, or did you learn more? Because you're fluent now.
I am fluent now. Basically, I don't think I was fluent. I definitely know I wasn't fluent before I went there.
Yeah.
Basically, I was just somebody who loved Spanish class, and I like my family has like Guatemalan roots, so I felt like I was very, very interested in Spanish whenever I would actually take my classes, so actually pay attention. And then the summer leading up to studying abroad, all I did was like watch Shrek movies in Spanish subtitles.
And that's how you learn.
That's how I learned.
That's how I hear a lot of people learn. They either watch, like they'll play American sports over there, and that's all they have to watch.
Yeah.
And so they listen to the commentators, and they kind of just figure out what they're saying. And like you said, people will watch American movies in Spanish.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they figure out the language.
Yeah.
So were you like taught formally at any point, or did you just pick it up? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was taught formally like in high school and in college.
Okay.
I think I only took, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 classes in college.
Okay.
And then I was just off to Spain, and they like they unloaded us all off the bus, and they were like, okay, well, welcome to Granada. Like, you have 5 days to stay in this hotel, and then you need to be in your next apartment for where you're going to stay.
Throw you to the wolves after 5 days.
Yeah.
In a completely different country.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay, so back to the trip.
Yes.
So we get on the bus. It's like a 40-minute bus ride. I remember. I mean, I didn't see anything. It was just dark. No
Yeah.
street lights or anything.
it was just a random city,
Yeah.
far away.
And well, it's like the airport again. Like I just saw what I could see were just fields. I didn't see any
You're
buildings or
right.
anything. It was just
was.
like in the country,
Mm-hmm.
the countryside, I guess. But we finally get to the city, and where the bus drops us off, it was still a little bit of a walk to the hotel.
Yes.
But
it
I do
was.
remember the first thing I noticed were like the cobblestone streets, which are really cool.
And honestly, actually, at the point where the bus dropped us off, I remember getting off, and it was the main street, as like what I knew to be the main street. We get off the bus, we start crossing the street, and as we're crossing the street, this guy passes us going the opposite direction, and he's like kind of like the local, like he just looks like he's panhandling type of thing. And I recognized him from
5 years later.
I was studying
That's
abroad in
crazy.
Spain. He was like always that guy that was on the corner that had like there's like a little baby carriage, and then he sticks his head through the baby carriage, and then he puts a blanket around his body, so it just looks like this like grown man's head in this baby carriage.
Yeah.
And, like, he has like a binky in his mouth. Like that was like his like trick. Like,
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so yeah, I definitely recognized him, which was a trip.
Yeah.
To be honest. But then we went to.
We
where
checked
did we go
into our
after that?
Hotel Zawan del Doro.
Del Daro. You
Del
always
Daro.
love saying that.
Yeah, that's how I remember it because it was just such a bizarre name, Hotel del
Del
Doro.
Daro. It was on the river, which is what
and
that
really,
means.
I do remember like so we checked in, and this hotel did not look like a hotel. I didn't get hotel vibes from it, just because of the inside the corridor. It was still outside, but then you'd climb the stairs and then you go into your hotel room.
Yeah.
And again, like it was so much tile.
Beautiful
Like,
tile
it was-
work.
yeah.
That's my favorite thing about Granada is how beautiful. It's
Yeah.
like Moroccan inspired tile. and
But it
it's
was like
just-
there's no rug, so
Yeah.
I do remember like my feet were cold when I like got out of bed the next morning.
I know that is.
But I do remember like the window. It was a shuttered window, and there was no screen or anything like that. And we look out the window, and if you look out and you look straight up, you see the Alhambra.
The Albaicin.
The
white houses. That's what I remember. I don't think we didn't have a view of the Alhambra because it was on the other side.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. But whatever it was, it looked awesome. And it was
yeah.
lit up and everything from the bottom, so you could see like.
So the Albaicin is the white houses on the hill that's across the street from the Alhambra. So it's all these like white houses with like
I thought it was like
blue balconies.
one big massive building though.
That's what the Alhambra is. The Albaicin is the.
Okay.
Yeah, it's two different things.
Okay.
I'll have to just show you.
Yeah, I'll have to GTS. Google that shit.
I was like, what is GTS?
Hey, watch your hair. You're hitting the microphone.
Oh, you can hear that?
Maybe.
My hair's pretty thick. So.
It's getting really long, and it's like hooked onto the mic too.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
We washed clothes in that
We did.
hotel.
I think I packed a total of 7 black jeans and 7 black t-shirts and
That's a lot in
and
one
boxers,
backpack.
and we just cycled them out. But never once did we go to a laundromat. We had to wash our clothes by hand and hang them out to dry.
Yep.
But I specifically remember doing it there because we hung them outside on the window shutters and in the bathroom or wherever we could to get like airflow so they could dry. And we would hope that they would be dry by the morning time.
Or by the time we get on to the next plane.
Yeah.
Which is only 2 days. So
Yeah.
better dry.
So, but that night, we checked into the hotel, we unpacked all our luggage, and then we went to 2 tapas bars.
Yes. The first one was like an outside one that was right in the street, that like the cobblestone streets.
Because it had the tall bar table and the bar stools, and so I do remember like sitting and looking out into the street.
Yep. And I remember we had as far as the tapa. So in Granada, I think I told you order a tapa, you order a drink and a tapa comes free.
Yeah.
And that's the last city that's holding on to that like Spanish tradition.
Mm-hmm.
All the other cities have charged for tapas. So a tapa is like a small portion.
Yeah.
of-
I wonder if they're still doing that like 3 years later.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing that when I lived there, and like years before.
Yeah.
So
But it's been like 3 years. They could have changed it
heck
by
no.
now.
Nah.
Okay.
It's the last city. Like that's why tourists go there.
Yeah. But like talking about like going out at night and walking these cobblestone streets and going through the alleyways, you see so many like patterns, like rugs and scarves and like purses and luggage, just all kinds of different patterns. And I thought that was beautiful because there's so many different colors.
Yeah, I think that was specifically Calle Elvira.
Okay.
So that was the street that we actually hit the second bar, which was called Tapas del Mundo, I think, which is tapas of the world.
Yeah. And I think we actually went in there, and I could have swore, I thought they were like foreign exchange students. I remember we sat up against, we had our own booth against the wall, and there's like a long table in front of us, and there's like it looked like a bunch of students just hanging out, having free drinks and free tapas.
Right, that's the place that we used to. Yeah, tapas. Good job.
Yeah,
that's the place that we all used to hit up. That was like the first one that we all went to because it was the most like Americanized and like just kind of you feel comfortable as an expat in that one.
Yeah.
But I think we had Tinto de Verano, which is red wine.
Tinta de Verano.
Tinto de Verano.
Tinto de Verano.
Yes, red wine of the summer or summer wine or whatever. So it's red wine plus Fanta Limon. You know what Fanta is.
Yeah. Fanta?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's literally all they do. I didn't know that was a thing before I met there.
All the commercials.
Yeah.
With the Fanta girls.
They also have a beer that they do, half beer, half Fanta. I don't think we tried that one, though.
I don't remember that. Yeah. Remember I forgot what country we were in. It might have been Granada. I tried to save like a Fanta bottle because it was in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to take it on the plane with me, but when I went through security, they told me to take it out, so I lost my souvenir.
Aw.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool one.
Yeah.
I think for the tapa, on that one, I remember having it was like a bagel with jamon and queso, of course. Mm-hmm. So that's
the thing out there. They love their ham and cheese.
Yep.
Jamon y queso.
Mm-hmm.
Queso.
So what happened after that? Then we went to bed, and then the next morning we woke up, and we first went to walk the Albaicin, which is the white houses, like in the hills, that you can look at the top of the Albaicin.
Walking through those streets, man, I just remember like you're in these alleyways and you look up and it's nothing but like these houses that go up for, I was gonna say up for miles, but they're really tall.
Yeah,
they're really, really tall. You can like see the burglar bar in front of the windows. Like it was just, I don't know, it felt something about it. I loved it.
Yes.
And then I know like we took a couple of pictures in between these buildings, and you would have that view in the background of whatever beautiful thing was back there.
Yeah.
It was just beauty all around the city, and that's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
And it made it especially vibrant for me because it was right. It was like during golden hour. Like the sunlight that morning was just right, and it was perfect for the most part. So
yeah. I remember with the Albaicin, like you can literally just get lost. Like you take any street, and as long as it's going upward, then you're gonna end up at that the mirador, the lookout,
and that's where you see
San
the Alhambra.
Nicolas. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, and then that's where you saw the Alhambra. And what did we see at the top of the hill? Come on, the flamenco guys.
Oh yeah,
the guitars,
they were playing music.
Drums.
Yeah. That's right. They were performing. Okay, so if you guys haven't watched my short film, I'll link it in the description below. There's this one scene when we finally get to the top, and you see the Alhambra, and Steph walks into the shot, and the guys are playing music in the background. I think that's my favorite shot out of the entire film. But that shot kind of represents how much I loved that city. And it meant so much to me to be with you in that city. And how you were interacting with the locals in Spanish.
Yeah.
And translating for me. Like, that was pretty cool, too. Like, you were buying peaches from that one woman. And then we washed them in that fountain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what does Granada mean, by the way?
It means pomegranate.
Yeah. And so it was like there were pomegranates everywhere.
But on the street, like on the sidewalks?
Yeah. But I know like they were in the statues as well, like in the fountains.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah. So
I remember, of course, being a college student and having drunken nights out in Granada.
Of course.
You like walk the sidewalk, and you remember those pillars. They were like everywhere. They were like every 3 feet.
There's a pomegranate on top of it.
And it only went up to like your like the mid thigh, like or your kneecap. Like, so if you're like drunk and you're like not really paying attention, like you can run into those.
Did you do that at one point?
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple times. Busted. We bought like you got like a lantern or a lamp or something.
I did, and I'm so horrible. I still haven't gotten the converter for the outlet on it.
Do we even have it still?
I have it, but I haven't used it because one, I said I didn't want to use it until we purchased something, and so now like we have this condos or the
townhouse. It's not a condo. I get really offended when she calls it a condo. I don't like it.
Come on. Still, either one describes ownership, so.
Townhome.
But yeah, so I did get a lantern, and I still need to put that up. But I missed the Granada accent, because like the way that they say hasta luego is talogo.
Really?
So they like cut off everything, and I miss that, because like for me, when I'm in California, I hear it seems like Mexican Spanish.
Yeah. And
to me, Mexican Spanish is very they say like every single syllable to me, whereas in Granada or Granada, they like say half of it, and they just like totally cut it off. But
just like Atlanta, we don't use syllables.
Oh gosh. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna
ahead.
do it this time. Nope, I'm not gonna do it. I ain't about to do it though, folk.
Oh gosh.
My bad.
Okay, so we what else happened? So we had the breakfast, and we went
I had
down
huevos.
off the hill. Yeah, you had huevos.
And they were wet. I like my eggs scrambled, but they were wet.
Wet?
Yeah, there was like it wasn't cooked all the way.
That's so weird.
I ate around it, but the bacon was good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was the how do you say it? Jugo de naranja.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, orange juice. What's up? Yeah.
Okay, so after breakfast, we walked down from the Albaicin.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go get on our bus to take the tour to the Alhambra.
Oh man, so the story here. Yeah. This is when if you guys listen to the first podcast, this is when Steph's engagement ring almost gets stolen.
This close.
Yeah.
She had her hand on it.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't listen to the first podcast, we're going to tell the story really short. Basically, we're walking to catch the bus to take us to the Alhambra, and I get bumped. I look down. No, I didn't look down. I got bumped, and I was like, okay, we're in the street. We're going to get bumped by people. You look down. You saw a hand on my bag.
I saw a hand. That was not my hand. I was pissed.
And the bag that I had was my camera bag. And because I know she won't go through my equipment, that's where I kept the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it ended up being two people trying to get into my bag. And so she realized it first. You elbowed her in the boob.
Yes, I did.
And started cursing her out in Spanish. Then I turned around.
Exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
And they both, it was a couple. It was a guy and a girl.
Guy and a girl.
The girl was the one who put her hand up. As soon as I elbowed her, I looked back, and they both put their hands up. They acted like they weren't doing anything.
Innocent.
They were like, ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? No hizo nada. And I was like, oh my gosh.
And so at that point, again, you started cussing him out in Spanish. I started cursing him out in English. And then eventually they kept walking back with their hands up.
Yep.
And eventually they left us alone. But after that, I was heated for a while, because the thing is, again, her ring was in there, and I looked down and I saw the box that the ring was in. And so the box that the ring was in was wooden. It was a wooden box, which ironically matched my phone case at the time. It was similar to this one right here. It was a walnut case. And you thought it was my phone case, but I knew exactly what it was, and that's why I was mad for so long.
I was so confused. I was like, it was just a phone case. It wasn't even your phone. It was just a phone case, and they didn't even get it. And even if they did, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But you were mad.
Yeah. And so I don't know, man. That pissed me off. And the thing is, out of all the cities that we visited, like we went to Rome. Rome was the biggest city, and we were around the most people there, especially, I'm not going to spoil it. We were in a large area with a bunch of people shoulder to shoulder and didn't get pickpocketed. But here we are in this non-tourist city, or the least tourist city that we went to, where not a lot of people are walking in the streets.
And where, in my experience, no one in my group had ever gotten pickpocketed there.
And someone, like, out of all people, we were the ones who almost fell victim to it.
Yep.
So thankfully, your ring didn't get stolen. We caught them before they got anything. I got mad. I got over it, and then
we got on the bus.
Before we got on the bus, remember that picture I took of you where we were sitting on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
In the cobblestone street. Like, there's the length of the curb is really short. Like, there's that much space. Sorry if you're listening to the podcast. There's like that much space between the curb and the street. And I got you sitting on there with your legs crossed.
Yes.
And you're just looking out. Yeah. Then we got on the bus and we went to the Alhambra.
Yep. And what did you think of the Alhambra?
The funny part
explain what it is for anybody who doesn't know.
Well, first, I want to say this. We paid for the tour, and like midway through, we were like, screw this. And we gave the guy our headsets and just went on our own.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to listen to anything on the podcast.
It's not a temple. It was like a castle built by
the Moors. Yeah, I don't know all the details.
And part of it, I remember there being a Muslim aspect to it. Because where is Granada located?
The south of Spain, which is right across from Morocco.
Exactly. So it did. I do remember it had some Muslim influence or Islam influence. You could tell by the architecture, the intricate designs and details in the ceilings, on the walls, a lot of the artifacts there. But there were gardens. There was like a whole like stadium looking place.
Yeah.
There were these little corridors and these little rooms.
Arches everywhere.
Plenty of arches. They had like these little ponds. These outdoor ponds. It was huge.
Yeah.
And eventually, I mean, what else can you remember from it?
Well, I mean, when you look it up, because I researched it before I went to Granada, and they talk about the mathematics of all the like lines and curves.
Yeah.
Like apparently there's like some hidden code in between all of those like tiles and the way that they're writing. But I mean, the beautiful tiles.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy on colorful tiles on the bottom, and then typically like on the top it's like wooden arches with very intricate carvings.
Yeah. And
then kind of like they're like kind of like droop down like icicles of like
I do remember those. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Of almost like ceramic like icicles kind of hanging from the ceiling.
I like how you explain them as icicles. There's got to be a specific word for that, and I'm sure it's not icicles, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean.
Yeah. It's just funny. Icicles. It was hot there.
Yeah.
Ain't no icicles.
Well, that's true. And then we ended on kind of like the lookout.
Yeah,
where
so
the
we got
guards were.
to the very top. I remember being tired. There was a lot of stairs. And I feel like the entire thing was like on an incline anyway. So by the time we got up to the top, but it literally sits on top of the entire city of Granada. But there's like two sides. You go to one side and you see like the Granada. I remember like all the entire city on a hill going down, and all the houses, and you can see all the cobblestone streets, and you can see cars driving by and things like that. But on the other side, I felt was like the industrial side of the city, or like the city.
Yeah, there was like a mall on that side and things like that.
Did you ever venture out over there when you were living there?
Yeah.
So what's it like? We didn't touch that side of the city.
We didn't, and next time we go, I'd like to take you there. But
next time we're gonna go again.
There's a place I remember like there was just a bunch of like shopping. So the Corte Inglés, which is like the English. I don't know what they call it, how you translate it, but it's like you can get things that are not Spanish. So if you're American and you're an expat there, like you can go to this Corte Inglés, and it's like you can get like London type of like things.
Yeah.
To kind of like, but they're more expensive.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's what Corte Inglés is. And actually there's a huge river on that side. And I remember crossing the river on one of my runs, and there's actually an outside gym. I almost said gimnasio. I'm like,
Oh.
I'm struggling with my Spanish and English right now, but there's an outdoor gym, sort of like the one that we had in North Hollywood. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
so
That was
that-
real janky, though. That wasn't even
But
a
those are
gym.
everywhere in Spain, like, or at least in Granada.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the other side that you're talking about is the Albaicín, which is
Okay.
where we had breakfast.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we,
yeah.
like,
I mean,
went
that's
up
where we
that
were the
hill.
entire time. But I do
Mhm.
remember there being like two distinct sides. And I was
Yeah.
like, you remember, like in The Lion King, Simba's like, Dad, what's over there? And his dad's like, oh, that's that area. We don't go there. Where like the hyenas were. That's kind of how I saw it.
It's
Like
the industrial side.
there's the side that we stayed on, and then you look out to this other side, like, what's this place over there?
Yeah.
You don't go there.
Yeah, the Albaicín is definitely the more pretty side.
Yeah.
The white buildings and the blue balconies and the blue pottery on the sides of the buildings.
Yeah.
And everything.
And so after that, we did the Alhambra, which again was my favorite part of our entire time in Granada.
Yeah.
And that took it took most of the day.
It did. Yeah, I think we were there for maybe 3 hours
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think we went to go get our tickets for the flamenco show later that night.
So explain to them what flamenco is.
Flamenco.
Flamenco.
It's not a bird, okay?
I said flamenco. I said flamenco. You thought I said flamingo.
Yes.
It's flamenco.
Flamenco. Very good.
Thank you.
So flamenco is a Spanish dance. Basically the typical red dress with the white polka dots, kind of like that like character that you see. And it's kind of like tap dancing. Like they have certain like shoes that they wear.
Yeah.
And they tap with the artist behind them, who is a guitarist, and then somebody who sits on a box, and they kind of like do this drumming thing on a box.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another guy that sits there and claps.
Yeah.
So that is flamenco. She dances to their kind of percussion.
But we were in a cave.
Oh yeah, flamenco en las cuevas. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in a cave.
So
And it was really cool. It was tiny.
It was tiny. Those chairs. That's why I wanted to take you to that spot, because those chairs were like teeny tiny.
Like elementary school chairs.
Yeah, it's so that you could see, because the stage wasn't that high. You know, it's like an intimate kind of
There were
thing.
maybe 20 people there.
Yeah, and what's cool about flamenco is if you're like really, really, really a local, like you can get invited to these like flamenco cave like sessions, like jam sessions.
Yeah.
And like you take like a motorcycle and you like go on this like long road and you go into somebody's home that is a cave.
No way.
And it's like flamenco.
I didn't know
in
that.
There. Yeah.
That's really cool.
I didn't get that deep into the culture when I was in there.
Get the VIP.
I heard my
treatment.
friends did. I never got invited, but
FOMO.
I know.
Dang.
Really.
It was a unique experience. I never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
And we also had sangria.
Oh, here he goes. The Atlanta is back.
That's
Sangria.
Sangria.
Oh my gosh, you guys!
Sangria.
I can't. There we
say
go.
it right that time.
Yeah, better.
Sangria.
Sangria.
And we had some kind of, I cannot remember what we ate.
I want to say just the typical tapas there, like some olives, cheese.
I didn't eat
Oh no, we had paella.
That's right.
I
We
ordered
did.
paella.
We did. Because I ain't eat no olives.
That's right. I think I had that the other time. So I was there. We had paella. That's right. And then after, I think I wanted to take you to eat some churros con chocolate.
But remember, like before we left, we made friends. It was that girl and her mom.
Yeah.
And they were really, really nice. I can't remember where they're from, but they were from the States as well.
Yeah. They were sitting right next
and like
to
we were sharing food with them too. Like they had something off our plate. We had something off their plate.
That's right.
They were really, really, really nice.
Yep.
So
did we ever have the melon con jamon, like the green melon with the ham wrapped around it?
no.
Oh,
I don't remember that.
Always my favorite. Sorry. Anyways.
Okay, so what you brought up, I have no recollection of this. I think you said I was tapped out by this point.
Yeah, I was so excited because after flamenco, I wanted to go have some dessert. And there's something called churros con chocolate. Churros, like churros.
Yeah.
Literally, but they don't have like the cinnamon and sugar on the outside. It's just like fried dough. And con chocolate, like warm chocolate, like literally in a cup. It's just chocolate melted. It's not even like hot chocolate with milk. It's just like pure chocolate. And you dip the churro in the hot chocolate. And it's so good. And I was so excited to bring you there. And you were like, how long is this going to take? And I'm like, come on, we have to have it. And you're like, okay. And I remember you just sitting there.
Is that how I talk? Okay.
Yes. I remember you sitting there like you ate one or two and then you were like, I think my mom would like this.
My mom just likes anything with chocolate, period.
She
So,
does.
yeah.
And yeah, you were just zoned out.
I talk like that?
I mean, I think you were already thinking of how to edit this video. That's usually what's going through your mind if you're blanked out.
True.
You're thinking about creating something.
Yeah, the gears are turning in my head.
I can't
help it.
I can't introduce.
I'm a creative.
Yeah. What happened after that?
I think that was it.
Was that it?
Honestly.
No.
Because we had to be.
I need to go back.
I remember we left the hotel at 6:45 to catch the bus back to the airport so we can make it to the airport in time.
Yeah, that's right.
And actually, I don't think the sun was out by the time we got to the airport.
No.
And by the time we took off, the sun finally came out. Mm-hmm. It was a small airport though. I remember having another chocolate croissant and some orange juice for breakfast before we got on the plane.
You did like those chocolate croissants.
That
was your thing.
That was my thing. Like every day for breakfast was a chocolate croissant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. The thing is, like, here we don't have panaderias like that. Like bread stores.
Okay.
Panaderias. Pan, bread.
Pan.
Pescaderia.
Pescaderia.
Fish store.
Fish
Panaderia.
Store. Oh. Whoops.
Have you had a good chocolate croissant here that's equivalent to the ones over there?
No, I mean
no, because they don't exist.
They do exist at Starbucks.
No, please.
But it's not. It's not the same. No, it's like the chocolate's all hard inside the croissant. I want that shit melted.
Yeah.
And tasty. And then we boarded our plane again. Shout out to Welling. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So after Granada, we hit up Rome, which we will talk about next trip.
Did we do Rome in a day?
We did do Rome in a day, and someone decided to drink out of the coffee maker there. But we'll save that. We'll save that for the next episode. But I know you haven't done that since then.
I have not. I'll never buy that thing.
Yeah.
I'll explain later.
Yeah. So we're gonna leave you guys on the cliffhanger again, so you can come back and listen to our Rome trip. Until then, guys, again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening or watching, whatever you're doing. Again, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yes.
Until next time, guys, we're out of here.
This was fun. Okay, see you in Rome.
See ya.